Before we move on, this video is brought to you by Purgatory Academy, a drama series about heaven, hell, and having 4 years to decide. Chimera Island, a slice of life series about a hidden island striving to find balance. Let's Go Metal Hero, a superhero series about two siblings who want to turn a robot into a, well, superhero. And Just a Reaper, an action comedy series about a young Grim Reaper trying to keep hell off Earth. Read these series for free with the pinned comment below and sign up to the newsletter to never miss an update. Back to the video. Why do you create comics?
So I've been a fanboy, like a lot of us, since before I could even read. I have this really awesomely vivid memory of my dad reading what I've come to find out is Amazing Spider-Man number 101. It's the first appearance of Morbius. And I have this awesome memory of my dad reading that to me because I couldn't read yet. And just trying to figure out what was happening with Spider-Man and why all his arms didn't have sleeves on them. Because, I didn't have any context for, him mutating or all the cool Spider-Man things that were happening back in the 70s. So as long as I can remember, I've been a fan of comics.
Even when you were a child and your dad was reading you the Spider-Man comics as a young boy, and you didn't even know how to read, that imprinted on you, huh?
Yes, it
that's
absolutely
amazing.
was. Yeah, my dad was awesome. Now he did two really radical things. He read me that Spider-Man comic, and in 1976 he took me to King Kong. I was 3 years old. Completely inappropriate film for a 3-year-old.
What was the rating of King Kong?
I don't even know if they rated movies in the 70s. But the cool thing was that trip to this big, giant, dark room with the biggest TV screen I'd ever seen in my 3-year-old life and watching this, giant gorilla ravage New York City gave me a love for the movies.
Nice.
So, my dad gave me the comics and he gave me film. And he also gave me music because he was a huge fan. So there was always something playing. Super influential cat, my dad. I've been reading comics my entire life, literally my entire life.
I like that.
It didn't occur to me. Yeah, it's a wonderful medium. You're reading all the time, so it's great for kids. What can go wrong with reading? And then your imagination's running free. There's all these fantastic stories, and there's no limits. There are literally no limits in the comic world.
What is the power of comics? What does the power of comics mean to you? Why is that the medium for you to express your art?
Well, as a fan, it's kind of this full circle thing. As I got older, for many, many, many years, my day job was playing in a band. So, I spent a lot of time doing those kinds of things like creating, making art, making music. I was always writing a lot. So when I was, moving into full out adulthood, kind of putting the guitars down and moving into another phase of life, I was always still writing and creating and, telling myself these stories. About that time, I had circled back to comics after a, 8 or 9 year hiatus because they got so damn expensive. And, I was broke because I was eating ramen. I was playing guitar for a living. So I couldn't really keep collecting. I couldn't even really sustain reading them. So going back and kind of getting reacquainted with them was this serendipitous, like it was the exact right moment for that to happen. And it brought back, kind of all that wonder and all the things that comics gave to me as a child. All the wonder and the joy and the holy shit, that guy can fly,
Yeah.
Like just the simplest the simplest thing, uh, getting back to that feeling, uh, was a kind of this unique and excellent thing. So it really didn't, and it was years later. It was years. 1,000 short stories, 100 sonnets, um, 3 attempted novels, and it never occurred to me, you know what, you should make some comics. Like I hadn't done that since I was a child, and folding the construction paper and writing stories about the kid, the meteor falling in the backyard and getting the superpowers.
Right.
Because it was so hard to make copies of that, so I would just make one, and fold it and staple it. But that was, I was 25 years prior to that, so I hadn't. It never occurred to me that it was something that I could actually do until about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay, I get you. I get you. Is there anything about the modern state of comics that excite you?
There's a couple things. One thing is, it's not this weird little habit anymore.
Yeah,
It's not
it's no longer for the nerds.
right. It's not just the little nerdy kid, hiding in the corner, which, you know, we all know now those guys are like CEOs and kings of the universe.
Absolutely.
Anyway, like it's not just. I enjoy the mainstream, that it's moved into the mainstream. I enjoy the fact that there's a new movie or TV show that I can watch anytime I want, as often as I want, because for the first 2/3 of my life, it was complete drought. Dolph Lundgren played the Punisher. Shaq was Steel. A little something here and there until Blade. But the other thing is, and I've always loved this about comics, but it's become even more obvious to me as an adult, is everything exists in comic book form. Like, it's not just capes, right? You want to go to space, you can go to space. You want to do a heist, you can do a heist. You want to be a pirate, you can be a pirate. Like, there are comics in every genre. There are comics that mash up genres that I wouldn't even think could be on the same side of the street, much less mashed together. And it's wonderful because there's no limits. There's no limits.